Welcome to the ASP.NET Core Gantt Chart tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to bind hierarchical, self-referential, and remote data to the Syncfusion ASP.NET Core Gantt Chart. I begin by opening the existing application where I have added Gantt chart control with the hierarchical data source. I've added hierarchical data with a collection of tasks, each including fields like task ID, name, and subtasks to define child tasks. If you want to know more about getting started with the ASP.NET Core Gantt Chart control, refer to the video linked in the card above or the description below. Now I run the application. The Gantt chart is rendered with hierarchical data. Next, I will show you how to bind self-referential data, that is flat data, to the Gantt chart. Let's explore the self-referential data structure. Each object includes a parent ID field that corresponds to the task ID field of the first object. This connection indicates that these tasks are subtasks of the first one, effectively demonstrating a parent-child relationship. I remove the subtasks property and add a new property, parent ID, of type nullable so that I can map the parent-child relationship in a self-referential type. Then I remove the existing hierarchical data and add the self-referential data. Here, the task ID field holds a unique value to identify each task, and it is mapped to the ID property. Parent IDs hold value that indicate parent tasks. This value points to the task ID of the first object, so this second object will be considered as the child object of the first. So this parent ID should be mapped to the parent ID property. So in the Gantt task fields tag, remove the child property, add the parent ID property, and set the parent ID. In this way, the Gantt chart ensures that the data structure is self-referential, and then it will start to establish the parent-child relationship. I run the application. You can see the Gantt chart rendered with self-referential data. Next, let me move on to binding remote data to the Gantt chart. I need to use the Data Manager component to access the online data service. Data Manager is a Syncfusion component that acts as a gateway and interacts with local and remote data sources. To access it, add the Data Manager tag to interact with the remote data source. I provide the endpoint URL with a valid service URL. Then, set the adapter with the Web API adapter object, as the service URL has been added to the Data Manager according to Web API standards. I set the cross-domain property to true so that the Data Manager considers the current ASP core application and the remote service as different domains. Since the remote data is added through the Data Manager, I remove the data source property. I also remove the other code from the code directive. In the Gantt data source class, remove the parent ID fields. This is the structure of the remote data used in this URL. Since the remote data is hierarchical, I have added the subtasks field to hold the child tasks. Remove the property parent ID since the remote data is hierarchical. Set the child property with subtasks. Looking here, the Gantt chart is loaded with remote data, the parent tasks, and subtasks. You can also see the task dependencies with arrow marks. Let me summarize. I have shown you how to bind hierarchical, self-referential, and remote data to the Syncfusion ASP.NET Core Gantt chart. If you want to try out the example used in this video, download it from the GitHub link in this video's description. I have also shared a link in the description to learn about obtaining a free license key to use our ASP.NET Core controls through our community license if you are eligible. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel.